I think proximity is power. Like if you can surround yourself with people that are either where you want to be or trying to get to where you want to be, that's just the power of that. The power of us catching up and chatting and coming to these events and catching up on a regular weekly basis. Just that alone and the community chat will propel you forwards to where you want to be.
Welcome to the Build Insite Podcast. Real people, real insights. Step into the world of innovative construction, one conversation at a time.
Today's guest is Luke Davies from Tasmania. Luke is behind Davies Constructions, Align Architecture, Future Builder Co, and now author of Dream Home.
Luke Davies, welcome to the Build Insite Podcast, mate. So we got Luke all the way from Tassie. So it's a bit of a special event this week. We had the Rethink Building Expo down at the Bowens Hastings store with Sustainable Builders Alliance that Luke and Kyle from Future Builder came over for. But not only Future Builder, Luke is also a builder, architect, author, coach, maybe librarian. Luke's wearing a few different hats. So, well, definitely keen to dive into your different business ventures that you've got, mate, and a bit about how you balance all that sort of stuff, a bit of the vibe on what's going on in Tassie at the moment. So, mate, welcome to the Build Insite Podcast.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's great to be here. In the Bowens Circus Centre. It was great to catch up yesterday as well at the Bowens event. Catch up in person and see the work that you guys are putting in with them. It's good.
Yeah, Luke, it's awesome to have you in, mate. We've been chatting about it for a while. It's a pretty exciting time in the industry, mate, and you're driving a lot of factors with that, especially with the Future Builder, with the t-shirt repping.
Yeah.
But mate, let's wind it right back. Where did your journey actually start, and when did you actually set out in the construction industry? I think you were a joiner first and then got into carpentry.
Yeah, done a little bit of joinery. So grew up on dairy farms in Tasmania, sort of, rural locations, sort of, at least half hour out of the main town centres. And we'd moved, I think I wrote about this in the book as well, like by the time I was 14, we'd lived in 12 different houses, usually like the second house on a farm. Those houses are like, cold, drafty, shitty houses. And just always had a drive to sort of make those houses better. And I sort of started tinkering around, and that's where I got the love for building and using timber. I loved woodwork at school, and then just went through that progression of trying to find an apprenticeship. Couldn't find an apprenticeship. Ended up doing a bit of a TAFE course in furniture. Got a bit of a gig as a joiner for a few months, and then got offered a carpentry joinery apprenticeship back in the hometown of Sheffield. My nan's property was like literally the next door. So I'd ride the motorbike over to my boss's house in the morning, and before I had my license, and jump in his ute and off to work. And yeah, that's how I sort of got into it. Yeah.
Did you, in those early days, mate, growing up on the dairy farms, did you do anything that, like, actually on the farm, or you sort of were just tinkering around with the houses, or?
They used to work on the farms. Yeah. So, milk the cows before school and up at 4 a.m. and, truck to work overnight and, driving tractors and motorbikes and stuff like, I don't know, from probably 8, 9 years old. Yeah. It's just a really good, I don't know, I loved it growing up on the farm, the freedom.
Yeah.
We were working all the time, so we didn't go on any holidays or any of that type of stuff, but just the outdoors. And I got 2 younger brothers. So, with your brothers all the time.
Yeah.
With mum and dad all the time. That was one of their reasons they went dairy farming, so they could spend a lot of time with the kids, and we could do stuff together. So it was good childhood.
It's a tough industry, isn't it? I don't know whether I've told you about this, Dean. Actually, one of my first jobs, I grew up in a country town, but local dairy farm just out the road. That was my first job. Out there, right, 16, got my learners on my motorbike license, so that mum and dad didn't have to drive me out there at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you go back for the afternoon milking. They're big days. It's definitely a draining industry, isn't it?
7 days a week.
Yeah.
You got a lot of respect for farmers, especially dairy farmers. Yeah.
I people would say I'm a hobby farmer, but I say I'm a wannabe farmer. That's my anytime I'm not working, I want to be out in the paddocks. But it sounds like that's definitely instilled in you, like the discipline and the work ethic from a young age, getting dirty. And I suppose going from your younger years, Luke, to then stepping into Davies Constructions, that obviously you've got that passion there and the work ethic was there. So when was the hitting moment that you thought, I'm just going to go out and do this myself?
So I got on with my boss really well. I'd done my apprenticeship there and worked there for 3 years. But when I was going through my apprenticeship, I'd see, other tradies and other builders sort of running their own business, and started to get that bit of an idea in the back of my head that I'd want to do that someday, you know, do my own thing. And it's just a few events that led to me starting my own business. I was already registered already had my accreditation as a builder, because, you know, I'd done that, and my boss didn't really have any other pathways for me to go. And one of my other mates went out subbing by himself, and it just sort of sparked my, you know, I suppose, decision to take the plunge. And one thing led to another. And once I started working myself and started to learn more about what's possible, it just, you know, kept trying to get to the next thing. And, you know, we just grew the business and to where we are today.
Can we touch on that too, Luke? Because we always have a chat, obviously, Build Insite. We talk to people around Australia, and yourself being down in Devonport, Tassie's a bit unique. You've, like, here in Vic, we've got like the premium limits on our warranty insurance, as most people would call it. But you guys don't actually have a limit at the moment with a cap or anything, do you? So
No, it's no home warranty insurance.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can pretty much, as much as you can handle, you can build. Yeah. And that's just in Tassie. So you know, every other state has a cap. Yeah. They've talked about bringing it into Tassie a few times, but it hasn't got down there yet.
It was funny, like, there's no, say, warranty insurance, but like from the mainland, like, I think there's a lot of admiration to the Tassie building community down there. You guys are like really leading the way with, you know, we can talk about high performance building, passive homes, but the quality of builders and, you know, future builder as well. There's a healthy number of Tassie builders in that are really doing great things.
Yeah, I think the quality of the carpenter in Tasmania is really high. You know, we get a lot of exposure to all the sub-trade work. You know, throughout my apprenticeship, we did everything pretty much. I had a go at, you know, we can concrete and roof and tile and plaster and do all that sort of stuff. Probably not, not to the skill that the professionals do it, but we can handle all that type of stuff and we understand it. And yeah, we stick framing and lots of carpentry stuff. So from a carpentry point of view in Tassie, there's a pretty high skill. And then, from a building, I suppose, company side of things, with the climate and, you know, what we have to build to sort of keep the buildings durable, you know, we've just upskilled ourselves as the community, I suppose. You know, we've reached out to each other, which is something that we didn't have when I first started. There was no Instagram or, you know, social media. So it was really hard to find information. I'd even, you know, no one really shared information back then either. Like when I was starting out, I'd ask other builders, you know, can I get hold of your estimating template, or can you share this with me? Because I've just got no idea where to start. And, you know, you'd get nothing from anyone. So the whole community is changed, especially in the healthy home or high performance building space. And that's what I love. You know, it's awesome in Tassie. It is really, really strong. I'm on the phone to builders all the time. You know, we're just having a chat, whether they're in Future Builder or not.
Yeah.
You know, just talking about details and business and life, and it's awesome. Yeah.
For over 130 years, Bowen's has been the builder's choice, providing a service that provides timber, hardware and innovative building products.
And now we're helping you further with this wonderful partnership.
We're proud to announce Bowen's as our new premier sponsor, bringing you more of the insights that you love. Build Insight, together with Bowen's.
Real people,
real insights. We'll get to that a bit. I'll actually just go off the radar here a little bit, mate. It might put you on the spot, but I think if no one's following Luke's journey, you can reach out. He's got the book Future Builder and everything, but mate, from an industry professional as well, like, we kind of see you as one of the benchmarks of the industry. Your systemisation. We had the Systemology day a couple of months ago with an AI conference there, but you kind of heavily early days saw you really need to systemize your business, and that was where you could get the freedom to, you know, get the growth and really understand your business. And I think the industry struggles from probably lack of systemization. We've all come from wearing a tool belt to then jumping on site, do the office work at home maybe, until you get to that point where you can stand on your own 2 feet. So where in your journey, mate, do you say, I need to, you know, grab the bull by the horn, so to speak, and run with it?
So what do you mean, like systemize? Like, when did I really double down on systemizing?
Yeah.
Well, as builders, we all have like a systems thinking, like, you know, the way a house goes together, you know, from getting the plans right and your contract and footings and, you know, slab and frames, you know, that's like a system and a process. So we do have good sort of system minds. I really sort of doubled down in it when I was, I knew I needed to do something because I was like working massive hours and wasn't getting to see the family and was getting burnt out. So, you know, just trying to do everything yourself. And the only way to free yourself up is to put processes and systems in place that other people can follow, you know, and just have some really clear direction for other team members.
Yeah.
And it was when I probably put on my first office-based person. And so, because I was, you know, off-site, when you're on site all the time, it's pretty easy to make decisions and, you know what you're doing. But when you're trying to teach someone and bring someone into the office, you really need, a process and a system for them to follow. And that's where I started to probably systemize the estimating process and the sales process, trying to get that sort of thing flowing. You know, just doing estimates at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to get stuff out the door and, you know, letting customers down because you said you're going to have your estimate back in, you know, 2 months and you haven't even looked at it in 2 months and, you know, all that type of stuff. That was me, you know. And now we've gone through the process, we've systemized stuff. The business can run without me, or I can step in and do certain things, and I can either be on site or I can do things in the office. So once you've systemized, you can sort of put yourself back into the spot that you enjoy.
Yep.
So yeah, super powerful. And the AI summit was that, and the systemology process is a process that I used to do that as well. So we engaged a systemologist, a guy to come into the business, extract all of our core systems over maybe a 6-month period. And now all those systems are sort of available as well on the Future Builder platform.
Yep. Awesome. I want to segue a little bit, mate, because there's a really crucial part of your journey that I really want to hear the story for. Obviously, there's along your building journey, you obviously saw a missing link and some poor design, and obviously now being the founder of Align Architecture, providing that service for the broader building community as well. What was the point for you that you realized that you needed to venture out on your own little journey and do something a bit different? You were obviously seeing poor designs and saw a better way to do it. Let's get a little bit into the Align Architecture journey.
Yeah, so the architecture side of things has multiple reasons for starting it. One year was the poor designs that we were getting, the quality control, the budgets, the details on the plans, just trying to integrate the process. One of our philosophies, I'm big into like the lean philosophy, so like maximizing value and minimizing waste. And a lot of the design and construction processes, there's just so much wasted process going back on itself all the time. So trying to make decisions when they need to be made. And everything starts from that design process and flows through. So we're generating lots of design inquiries, and we're outsourcing it to other architects and designers, but we still weren't really getting that result we wanted on the resolved documentation. So yeah, we decided to put on our own. We employed our own architects internally. Worked really well, like having your own architects on board. We could deliver the plans and stuff when we wanted. We could get the quality of the designs how we wanted. There was a couple of moments actually where I'd gone back to our jobs and our quality was awesome. Like you can fit the best door and architrave and thermal envelopes and wraps and all that stuff as best as you can. But if the design's shit or orientated the wrong way, or there's just things that don't work, it doesn't matter how good a builder you are, you can't sort of overcome those main design flaws. And then we've all had jobs that are way over budget when they come to us as well. So going back to right at the start of that process, putting the things in place that the core things to consider, like the 6 elements of the dream home and this aligned building process that we go through is just made everything that comes through the business now really streamlined. Like our variations on our own designs are like a handful versus some of the architectural jobs we get up to one or 200 variations. on the plans, like, because the questions haven't been asked properly, or the architects just haven't had the information to be able to understand and resolve some of the details. So yeah, going back to the start, and I really enjoy the design as well. Like, I think a lot of people I talk to, a lot of builders do enjoy
process.
being involved in the process and having a bit of a sketch and throwing a few design ideas around through the design phase. So yeah, that's a really important part of the process.
Right back at the start, was it you started to employ architects as a part of Davies construction? Is that where it started?
So to start with, I'd outsource it, but you'd lose control of the process a bit. Then secondly, I started a company with an engineer and a VR virtual reality guy. And we hired some designers, and we're trying to do like these 3D models and stuff. And we were doing some plans through that company, and that ended up shutting down. And then I hired architects directly through Davies Construction for a couple of years. That worked really well. And then we were getting so many inquiries for design that we couldn't build. We split that off into what's now is a line architecture. And now we can design for builders pretty much anywhere. But having architects internally, it worked really well. And that's what we've tried to do with the line now separately, so we can give that feedback and improve the process.
Do you still have architects as a part of Davies construction, or you do it all through a line?
Yeah, everything goes through a line.
And it's quite commendable, mate, to like take that step. I reckon there'd be a lot of builders that have gone, it'd be just easier to, not to say you've done it yourself, you're not there, you've employed the right people, but there's a lot of talk about collaboration in the industry, and that's where success lies, when everyone's on the same page. But to actually get onto it, get the right people around you, and see how that's going, it's exciting stuff in the industry, because we've seen collaboration work really well. I mean, you can see it fall over. There's nothing worse than getting a over budget design. Everyone's gone through the whole process, spent a lot of hard earned money, and it's usually the builder that has to break the bad news that we can't deliver that. So it's awesome to see that in play.
Yeah. No, it's big. No one wants to waste time. Like, the client doesn't want to waste money on, a set of plans that never goes ahead, and the builder doesn't want to waste money. And it's just such a productivity drain on the industry. Like, so if a client brings a set of plans into the three of us, we all spend, a week or two pricing it, and we all send it out to 10 or 15 subbies to price it. And that's just hundreds of hours of time that, it's just a waste. It increases the cost of building. So yeah, just having that design integrated is essential. And I think that's the way it's going to go in the future as well, especially with these AI tools, vertically integrating stuff through the design phase. So decisions can be made at the right point. Even yesterday we were looking at that, like the Powerhouse for the star ratings, and those type of tools where you can quickly make a decision without having to go out to a consultant. Some of these tools around pricing now, these AI pricing tools, and checking the price of your designs as you go through, just saves that waiting period. It takes us 12 months to design a house, but it's probably only 3 months worth of work. The rest of the time's waiting, and that's just a waste. That's a waste in the process. And it's when you're looking at what's called, what are you actually trying to provide value to the client, and your client's doesn't want all that waiting time or all that back and forth. You just want to get the value to flow through, and get the set of plans to be accurate, and then straight to construction.
Dino, so I rocked up to site last week, got scratch bench tops, paint all over the windows.
Let me guess, Lukey. No good?
No good. And now we're spending big bucks trying to fix it.
Mate, Goop Guys roll on a thick, peelable protective coating that saves your surfaces.
And your budget.
And your sanity, Lukey.
Seriously, check them out. goopguys.com.au. Protect your job from the start.
I'm curious to know a little bit about the Align process. What would be your ideal client? Or say if I was to reach out and wanting a design done for me as the builder, what's a bit of the Align process? How does it work?
So both Davies and Align are built around like a dream home client. So someone that's building their dream home, they've got to focus on health and sort of good quality products. A lot of people that are working for in Tassie, are in the sort of later years, or they're moving down from the mainland, just to build their dream home. That's our sort of ideal client. The size of the home doesn't really matter. It's just someone that really wants a good quality
got to fit your values.
sort through, design. Yeah.
I suppose, Luke, like this probably ties in with everything that you do, mate. It's more the Luke Davies philosophy across what you do, and that's the healthy home and the health of the occupants as well. But you touched on right at the start, growing up in some poor quality farmhouses and stuff. But what sort of sparked your, I suppose, interest to head down the road of passive house and the quality of what you're building?
Just continuous improvement. I'm always trying to get better personally, get healthier, improve the life of the people that we surround ourselves with. So, just that thirst for knowledge, and then you just keep finding another level of, quality you can go to. So, when I found Passive House, for example, I learnt more in the Passive House course pretty much, about building than I had over my whole building career. Once you learn about building physics and the science behind it, whether you're building a passive house or not, you can just, you understand more about what you're doing. And then, my own health journey, just trying to get healthier and going through that process, and then trying to, tying that into buildings. Because I think, we spend, 90% of our time in some type of built environment in Australia. So it's just got a massive impact, and that's become a real purpose of mine, is to, make sure that our built environments are healthy.
Yep.
And then Future Builder is trying to build healthy businesses, because if you can build healthy businesses, then you can build healthier homes. And then, guys like us that run the business, health just goes through everything, doesn't it? If you don't have your health, you can't do anything. It's like, if you've got everything sort of stacked on this table, your relationships and your business and everything you're trying to juggle, your kids and your family, and you kick a leg out, which is your health, and that the table, everything just falls off. So if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. That's a main driver. It's a main vision behind all of the companies as well. You see a future where the world's healthier through everything that we're trying to do.
Yeah. Do notice that a lot. It seems to be, obviously maybe Victoria, but seems to be a lot more popular and cool. The younger generation coming through, you're talking like 16, 17, 18-year-old, 20-year-olds that aren't really drinking. Like their hobbies are like getting fit and active and, eating right. Whereas we all kind of grew up and it'd be like you're at the pub a few days on the weekend and then you're recovering and you're back at it again.
Yeah.
But, it's definitely right. I think that's probably every builder would be full of shit if they said, oh no, I've always prioritized my health. Like at some point we've all, and at some point we've all learned the hard way. And I don't know if it's probably a continuous thing. You will have to recognize maybe something that's lacking your energy. And that's pretty vital. But, mate, through that cycle of things, you obviously then, got enough on your plate. Like you got 2 young kids, running, 2 businesses by this stage. And then you hit the point where you guys have discovered there's a missing area here for, I know, won't say coaching, mate, because I know you don't like to refer yourself as a coach, but you created Future Builder. When was the idea for that came up? And you're working with Kyle's Netto as well, who's co-founder.
Yeah, Kyle's Netto and Matthew Long.
Matthew too.
Yep.
So when was the idea of that sort of born?
I think it stemmed from back when I first started. Like when I couldn't find anybody to help me, and it's always been a thing in the back of my head that, once I get a certain way through business, I'd love to sort of give back and contribute. So I reached out to, this is probably 3 years ago now, I reached out to Matthew Long, who does our sort of video content. He was doing my content and Kyle's content. Kyle and I didn't really know each other then. We'd had a couple of messages around building details on Instagram. Yeah. And I said to Matt, I want to create these courses and, start putting together a bit of a few resources for homeowners and for builders. Would you be interested in like filming some stuff for me, and I'll, split some revenue with you once it, if it becomes successful?
Yep.
And then he said, actually, there's another guy in Launceston was thinking, come to me about doing the same thing. And it was Kyle.
Yeah.
So, he sort of linked us up and we had a meeting, and, we sort of threw our ideas around, and Future Builder sort of sparked from there.
Yeah.
It's just sort of growing from there. So we already had the name Future Builder created. I had that because, the concept was sort of there, but it didn't really crystallize and turn into anything until I met Matt and Kyle, and the three of us are just really good at certain things, and it's just been an awesome relationship. I think it's a great thing about business too. If you can, like you guys, you can get a really good partnership and a gel going, you can do a lot more together than just trying to drive something by yourself.
Yeah, that's quite funny actually, mate. We were talking about this yesterday, that it's not nearly 2 years ago that I rang Luke. We were already networking through previous like coaching groups that we met through a number of years ago. And I rang Luke it was like the Christmas break, and said, I've got this idea. What do you think? And he goes, I've actually already started jotting out some stuff. A very, very similar kind of story there. So that's how that kind of created.
There's thousands of ideas out there that people have the same thing, but it's not until you get the right people together and you actually execute something that it becomes real.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those that have been living under a rock, mate, and actually don't know what Future Builder is, in your own words, give us a description. What is Future Builder?
So it's guided business development. Yes, especially around residential builders. So we do courses, online courses. We have a community where we chat and talk through topics together, and we have assets which are resources and tools that have come out of my business, Davies Construction or Zanetto Builders, that we make available for anybody to to download and use and implement in their business. And we have some in-person catch-ups. We run a Monday mastermind every Monday. We bring on an expert to talk about a certain topic. We partnered up with Wonderbuild, so we do Wonderbuild implementation calls every fortnight, where I'll just jump on a call for an hour with Wonderbuild and a couple other builders, and we'll just talk through how we can implement project management better. So that's pretty much it. And I try and find experts around Australia that specialised in a certain topic, and I'll sit down with them and extract a course, a really outcome-based course with to-do-based lessons. So you can just get straight to the point, and as you're doing the lessons, you're actually implementing the stuff and doing the stuff, not just learning about it. So learn by doing.
Yeah.
Micro sort of courses, just-in-time learning. Yeah, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
We are absolutely thrilled to announce that Circus Studio are coming on board as a major sponsor and supporter of Build Insight. Circus Studio is Australia's leading interior design centre. If you're an architect, building designer, interior designer, builder, or just looking to build your dream home, you need to make a time and come in and check out the space here in Port Melbourne. This space holds every element that you'll possibly need to design your dream home.
No, it is good to see, because it is, we all touch on it quite regularly, is the way that a trade comes through, whether they're a carpenter or whatever the background is, but no one's really been taught how to run a profitable, sustainable business. So it's really nice to see guys like yourself that are taking it upon yourself to share your knowledge and lift the building community around. So hats off to you, mate, for sure.
Yeah, cheers.
That's why I did like the phrase. I think one of the first times I heard you talk about your description of Future Builder, referring yourself to more of a librarian, Luke, I resonated with me, because there's probably people out there that would say they're coaching, but it's not necessarily like coaching mentality. And the resources, you realistically, it's probably only about nearly 18 months or something since you guys launched.
Yeah, 18 months.
And it, in my time involved, everything keeps expanding, and the involvement with the members and the community there, it's sharing like you've never seen before. It's kind of like everyone's got open book and just get it out. So that's fantastic. But what do you see, Luke, as maybe a few of the reoccurring problems you hear when you're talking to builders that they're facing? Is there any more common ones that you feel like the industry faces regularly?
I think there's definitely recurring themes and patterns. If you can pick up on those patterns, you can sort of improve yourself. But the basic business stuff, getting the right clients in that you want to work with, attracting and finding the right team members, having focus on what you should be working on as the business owner, because you can get overwhelmed. There's so much stuff you should be doing. So getting that clear focus is definitely something that I see that people struggle with. And then just making money, pricing jobs properly and managing cash flow and
Yeah, knowing your numbers.
knowing numbers and all
Sure.
that type of stuff. Yeah, so just just some fundamental stuff, attracting the right customer, making money and making your team, sort of gel and attracting the right people. They're the sort of core things that I think. Just looking at different business models and everyone I talk to is like super smart. Like everyone in there, we've got 100 members in our Keys to the Kingdom. Just great people, smart people, asking, when they catch up for one-on-ones, ask awesome questions. And it's good that we've just got the experience. Davies Construction, we're still building and we're still, we're still working, building some of the probably nicest homes in Australia, but it's a sort of a research and development and a bit of a lab as well. So my team are with me because they can handle that type of stuff. I wouldn't recommend it in all business, but we're always like testing different stuff and they know we're doing it for Future Builder. So there's a bit of an extra purpose in Davies Construction in testing systems and trying different things out and dipping our toe in here and there and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And then, like being that librarian mentality is all I'm doing is organising. You might share something, Dean or Luke, that you've done in your business, and then I can look at it and then turn that into something for the rest of the members, or Kyle's got something or I've got something, and we're just organising the database of information. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't call myself, I haven't done any type of coaching courses, or I'm not a coach. I'll just share my experiences and just say what I do, look back and sort of look at the breadcrumbs of how I've got through the maze and try and connect the dots and just give that advice to others, saying, well, this is where I went wrong. This is, I think, where I went right. And you can make your own decision, but this is what I do now because of this. And that's pretty much how we roll.
Yeah, there's no one size fits all for anybody out there, but there's anything you'd say to someone who's sitting on the fence, because there's probably a bit of imposter syndrome out there with certain people who think, I'm not doing as good as them. And Instagram can be great. You could look like you're killing it and you're maybe going through the wars like everyone does at times. But is there anything you'd say out there to someone who's sitting on the fence that feels like, maybe I'm not good enough or I'm not there yet to be in a group like that?
I think proximity is power. Like if you can surround yourself with people that are either where you want to be or trying to get to where you want to be, that's just the power of that. The power of us catching up and chatting and coming to these events and catching up on a regular weekly basis. Just that alone and the community chat will propel you forwards to where you want to be. Just the nuggets that you get might not be from me and Kyle. It might be from someone else. So if you don't think you're sort of ready for this type of stuff, you've definitely got to change your mindset and put some money aside for your own and personal business development, which is, I think, been my key to success, is actually putting time aside and money aside specifically for personal development, to sort of expand my mind and grow my mindset and upskill myself, and then just get around other people that I want to be like. And you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You would have heard that saying. So if you're surrounding yourself with people that are stuck in a certain way, you're never going to really get out of that groove, because you're just
Nothing changes.
that's it. So get around people that are growth mindset and want to improve themselves and want to improve the industry and want to make money and want to provide good service to their clients, and that's where you can really make some gains.
Yeah, it's definitely been something we always say is the best investment you can make is to invest in yourself. Has the community surprised you in any way, Luke? No doubt you guys have got plans to keep expanding in the future, but is it where you're at the moment? Is it what you expected it would be?
It's exactly what I expected. Yeah, but I did. You can sort of have goals for stuff. It doesn't mean you're going to achieve it. So, it's an awesome feeling. I've got a little folder on my phone called mission reminders, and a lot of the guys will send me a text like, your inspiration, or you've changed my life. And I was talking to one of the guys yesterday. He's working 7 days a week, and now he's like back to 4 days a week. So he's got time to spend with his kids and do stuff like those type of things are amazing. And then just the community, how much time, like, you guys are doing this yesterday, everyone's, like just getting around and sharing ideas, and a lot of people do a lot of stuff for free, just to share knowledge. I haven't seen any other community like it. I got asked the other day too about, would you make it like a future architect or, for other trades? And I just don't think that anyone would be able to, I don't know, like another group of people would be able to come together like we've come together as, sort of residential builders and make this work. So it's just the perfect recipe, I think.
It's probably important to say too. I know there's women involved in the group too.
Yeah.
Builders and the partners and stuff. So there's not just a blokes like environment. I think one of the cool things like just easy access is the Instagram group that is constantly firing with just nuggets, and sometimes it's a bit of banter or things like we all say like comical, like really bad inquiries and things that are almost exactly what you're trying to stay away from that come through the reminder. So yeah, it's a really, really great community, and no doubt other industries could take from it. Like I've actually had designers before saying, "Oh, we just don't have anything where we collaborate together, or we're all over here and separated." So yeah, maybe time will see if there's space for that, Luke.
Be awesome if awesome if it happens.
Yeah.
Even builders that are in the same geographical area that are members, we still end up sort of working together, to help each other out. It's just a completely different industry than it used to be. And it's not because of us, we're a part, but there's heaps of other people doing it as well. And there's just little breakfast groups of builders that get together, and master builders, and there's heaps of people sort of trying to do that now and do that collaboration stuff. And I'd love to see more collaboration between the design world and the construction world as well. Somehow. Yeah.
All right, guys, that was the end of part 1 with Luke Davies. Come back next week. It gets even better with part 2.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to find out more about Build Insight, head over to the website buildinsite.com.au. Over on the website, you'll find links to previous podcast episodes, as well as our YouTube channel, Instagram and Facebook. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.
We just need to say a massive thank you to our sponsors and supporters. Without them, Build Insight wouldn't be possible. So to Bowens, Circus Studio, Wonderbuild, Goop Guys, Calorie Building and Backman Builders, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insight team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insight podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.